why that kind of happened. And we'll have to figure that one out. Or, you know, I'm not really sure figured out. Maybe I can just ask him or something. Interviews.
The last game to talk about is probably the spiciest. It's Liquid against Na'Vi, a best of 3.
Ooh, that's going to be good.
I'm going to enjoy watching that. We actually have that game off, so I'm going to watch that one, get the popcorn out.
Get some food.
Going to be an awesome one.
Some pierogies.
Yeah, why not?
Well, here we go. Small delay, just to make you feel the anticipation a little bit more. Big taking on ENCE. Loser goes home from IEM Katowice.
That's a hell of a lot of utility for Big. 3 players dipping in. Means a distinct lack of Kevlar.
Well, the B-bomb site we go. We mentioned Big might put an emphasis on that early on with some of the struggles yesterday from ENCE, but likewise, ENCE realizes the possibility, has placed 3 players at this site. This is going to be tough. Here's that utility back platform. Taps in, wants that kill. He's going to get it traded immediately. Will they expect a third? No, but Nex handles it perfectly. And even players coming out mid, so no chance for the retake.
And this round could have been done in the blink of an eye. Plenty of grenades tossed out towards B. Now we're going to see if maybe he can pierce into the head of God B and make this a bit more tenable. Aerial, meanwhile, is making a move into the tunnels. So if maybe Alu can get some kills, then things could get interesting. But, I mean, Xantares is going to get the better of him very aggressively. Shows the confidence that he is currently feeling. Round's done. It's over. It's been over for a little while now. And Big going to claim the first round in this best of 3. Aerial unable to capitalize on Xantares pushing him.
Pretty interesting story around Nex as well. Remember, he was kind of relegated to that 6th-man status. They had that whole conversation. Had to step away. I believe it was for a surgery. Coming back a little bit earlier than he expected. And what a stage to have to come back on. You spent some time away from that competitive scene, but he delivered here early on in this pistol round. 2 kills for him. The entries into that B-bomb site. Well done. 1-0. Plenty of rifles. 1 player out at long. It's Alu with the scout. He's going to take 1 shot and back away.
Better to keep the gun at maximum range here on Dust 2. Many teams will dip in for scouts in their second round if they do concede the first. Could be such a punishing gun. You're expecting to see a lot of Augs in play. Nex has picked up the SG. Definitely seen much less than the Aug counterpart. And Big poised, positioned, ready to throw in some smokes. There's the first one. Going to lock off the side with a Molotov onto Khan. Just making sure all these angles are covered. And he's going to take some damage. Going to have to dip back towards the backside of the site. Can't really afford to peek too many more times. And these flashes constantly staggering, forcing him back. No one on the A site anymore. That's beautiful utility.
Actually, surprisingly that ENCE is able to get away without taking too much damage. They can back off and save these scouts. This round is lost. No reason to fight for it, even with that kill. I know it seems promising, but so difficult to get into this site. No kits. It would just take way too long.
Yeah, and they know it. They're already positioned to just save these guns. If they can take some shots with the scouts at range and thin out Big and force them to buy back up more weapons, then all the better for it. But this round is going to be going the way of the terrorists. If they could hold on to 2 scouts and a deagle with some armor, that's not bad at all. What a flick by Sergey.
That's spicy.
It's going to hurt Big a little bit, but I think it was just the SMGs they lost anyway. So they've kept the 2 AKs and SG in play. But again, ENCE will be able to counteract with a pretty decent third round. I don't want to say buy, just save.
Yeah, well, I mean, they have a lot invested that they just didn't want to lose. I really like that call from ENCE to just save those weapons, and you have an equally dangerous round now with the 2 scouts and all those pistols still up. And if you happen to save into the next round, you already have armor as well. So it's a pretty solid position to be in for ENCE. Probably the best they could have hoped for in this scenario. Sergey gets tagged. That was something against Waksik yesterday they had to deal with in quite a big way. He had so many on the cross. Those B defenders were playing with half health frequently.
In my mind, Voxic is the best AWP in the world on Dust 2.
Ooh.
I've seen him play it so many times at like DreamHack Opens, etc. He's an absolute monster. The X7.
The best deagler in the world on Dust 2?
He's definitely trying to make a case for himself. Also, in the previous round, ENCE didn't allow Big to get any SMG kills. So you can see Nex is down to $100. If they do concede more kills, this could start to get a bit worrying. The bomb's been dropped out. God be caught on catwalk. Smoke gonna stop the terrorists from pushing on there. Smoke definitely favors the CTs. There's a slight gap in there as well if Centaurus wants to push it.
No, you won't push that. He needs his teammates with him, and as well, Alu looked like he wanted to get boosted on the box. Might have called it off, because when that smoke clears, he's so exposed. Molotov deep, it's not going to stop anyone. Just might stop Alu from falling away. Now it isolates Alexi B, who can do nothing. That one Molotov really prevented ENCE from getting into the action. There is a third player, Sergey, still in CT spawn, but 2 scouts makes this a really awkward retake. Damage can be dealt, though, and obviously this boost, if they get one more, Alu's tracking him just barely over the top of the smoke.
Not far off and pulling the trigger, but Tizian is taking down the booster of Aerial, leaving the boostee to try and back away. Again, 2 scouts in play, but going into the next round, you better believe that ENCE want more, and Alu's going to go down alongside Sergey. So a clean sweep start for Big, 3-0.
Yeah, that's not bad at all. I mean, you put Big in a really precarious position, dropping Godby with a bomb when you're flanking up catwalk, and equally Big have a perfect response to it. They're able to get out of that scenario without too many losses, not too many issues. Early timeout called, and you can see Godby looking over at Xantares as he makes this discussion happen, probably making sure that he understands exactly what to do. They've taken a little bit of economic damage in these last 2 rounds, so probably making sure that they just sustain, that everyone is comfortable with this 4th round call. Looks like he's got like a little cheat sheet as well. A booklet, a journal, a diary. Puts his thoughts and his feelings.
The Bible of tactics, maybe. The rest of his team. But in the meanwhile, ENCE have gone for 2 orbs. This puts Alu on a glass cannon. Heavy investment for the CTs. What does Alexi B have? Okay, it's got an orc.
Shit, yeah, this double op setup. We'll see how it goes. You're right, this is a pretty heavy investment for this 4th round, and it's already going to be put on the back foot. Sergey goes for the aggressive peek and taps and punishes him. X7, the sole defender of the B bomb site now, as Alu is in CT spawn. No defense at long A. Aerial and Alexi B are going to be playing catwalk.
It doesn't get much more brutal than that. You finally have yourself some weapons and orbs in play. Instantly picked off. Tabson gets a second. He's nullified both orbs by himself. Won 2 separate exchanges. And with the heavy investment, it does put them down into just a few grenades left. There is so much for Big and so little for ENCE.
Yeah, ENCE needs to find a way, a place on the map they can successfully get aggressive, and it looks like Alexi, well, once you get close to those mid doors, he can join up with Aerial if they do attack catwalk. He can provide some kind of a distraction, but Big is moving up long, and there's no one with eyes on this. There goes Aerial. Great shot from Nex. The counterpart to the AUG has rung out on the map, and I think X7 and Alexi, they might just want to try and save this. They're going to see if they can get a kill pretty quickly in here. Maybe the nade is going to finish off Nex if they can find him, but he's actually outside B. And there's really nothing ENCE can do in this round. That's a couple rounds now they've just been kind of nullified from even making an attempt at the win. Shout out to Tapson.
He's having a hell of a performance so far with the AWP. 1 pick through the double doors. I didn't quite see where he picked off Alu.
It was the same place. Alu was trying to do a mid-round peek towards top mid. Yep.
Let's see if they can hunt down these AWPs. Now XCB looking for information. There is a smoke that he can put out there. Meanwhile, Nex is making a move through tunnels. Could he maybe be the player to pick off one of the AWPs? No, not quite. They're going to hold on to both of them. This could afford them a buy. Alexi B and X7 could both drop something like a FAMAS, maybe.
You could drop M4s or an AUG and just say, we already have armor, we just don't need the nades on the oppers. That's exactly what's going to happen. It is a full investment from ENCE, so those 2 ops being saved has bought them another buy round without having to save. Here we go again. Tapson not going to get challenged this time. Sergey and X7 to defend the B site. Both teams being pretty cautious across the map.
Tentative from Big. Know that ENCE may be forced into a desperation play. Smoke's being deployed from both teams. Locking down mid. One on top of the Xbox now, going to start to fade away as Antares will peek through that, see if either of the AWPers will be facing off against them. They must know that both AWPs were saved. This time ENCE have far more grenades at their disposal. Obviously helps when you haven't had two players picked off in the first 20-30 seconds.
Yeah, that does make you feel a little bit more comfortable as a defender when you're actually in a 5-on-5. It's quite nice. A little bit of nades thrown at the B bomb site is going to keep two defenders here. Alexi is in CT spawn. This round, a lot of it is going to hinge. If Big keeps progressing up catwalk, a lot of it will depend on Alu. His performance, his decision-making. Tizian looks like he's going to remain a lurker, throw some nades out, cause a distraction, try and pull Alu over. 34 seconds on the clock. Next now joins up for this long hit. It's going to get delayed. But meanwhile, ENCE is starting to get the read. Alexi is rotating back up the ramp. Alu over towards Car. All of a sudden, they're in pretty decent position to stop this attack.
Again, the noise he touched on before, it is going to be down to Alu. Can he have the first strike? Two flashbangs keep him in position, and he misses the flick. Doesn't even land some damage. ENCE have got a player behind Antares from the backside. Sergey is the only player in this confrontation to strike. But is it too little too late? It's looking likely. Sergey cannot stop anything in terms of firepower from Big. He's just going to have to pull away. It's going to be a 5-0 start.
You really like, I mean, that pinch on Alu out towards long is brutal, and you really like the fact that, you know, the communication came through, and Xantar's obviously not afraid to just swing out wide and take that fight. He could have just stayed hidden in the bomb site and let the long player deal with it, but that secures the frag on Alu and pretty much secures the round. No more retake, no more leg on the retake to stand on. And Sergey with one trying to fall away. Tapson's opening this up very nicely. 6-2 for him. Big looking solid early on.
Well, if you're ENCE right now, Moses, what the hell do you do? Nothing has worked out. You're just not getting kills. Alu has been entirely ineffective with the AWP. No one's really striking. Sergey's got the most kills with 3, but that's it.
I don't think it's time to panic quite yet. Obviously, there's still 10 rounds in the half, so I mean that's pretty obvious. But I think you still stick with your game plan. Let your players kind of work themselves out of it individually, although did ENCE just call 2 timeouts in a row?
Yeah, they just called 2 timeouts in a row.
Stacking them on top of each other, so you don't like to see that.
Also, that tells, from Big's perspective, that the ENCE are feeling the pressure really, really hard right now.
I remember when I was talking to the Valve devs at one of the majors, and they mentioned that they were completely fine with teams just using all 4 timeouts just right in a row, and I was just kind of laughing. I mean, I don't disagree. I just think it would be funny to watch a team use 4 timeouts in one go.
Does leave them pretty vulnerable later on in the map if things aren't working out. But I mean, at the end of the day, it doesn't get too much more vulnerable than a 5-0 start for Big on the T side, and you're into a half buy. So ENCE will be feeling pretty worried right about now, but they're going to be sticking with the pistols and try and send 2 players over. It's pretty much standard. They're going to push the second player, though, into mid. That's going to be Alexi B. And they're going to try and wrap around onto Nexus and Antares, but they are a step ahead. It's completely backfired. It's been neutralized.
That mid player as well, Alexi was spotted by the AWP way back, and yeah, this investment all going to waste for ENCE. They do have the full losing bonus, so they're going to be having a strong buy in the next round no matter what. But no frags, nothing they can really take away from this round. Big looking prepared for everything, and they're going to have a 6-0 lead, and just look at them on the minimap. Just nobody's moving. They're just like, listen, this is an elimination match. Let's just make sure that we don't get caught off guard by anything.
I think I heard a
timeout, yeah. There is, I have no idea who called for it, but it did pass, so there will be a timeout after this. You have to imagine, ENCE just used 2 in one timeout, essentially. They just used 2 timeouts in that previous round, so it's got to be a big timeout.
And hopefully not a technical issue, but Big will steamroll, romp forward to a 6-0 lead, and here we go. Another match pause. Looks like it has been remedied almost instantly. Yeah, I think it was actually maybe just a mistake, because as soon as the round restarted, ESL referee called for the vote to resume the game.
So no harm done. 6-0. ENCE back on the bye. They have the AWP on Alu, but as you mentioned, tabseN has been out-dueling them, and those ops on the CT side, they have not been effective yet.
And we said that he was going to be a condition of victory, not just on Dust 2, but Train. And so far, not really impressive. Molotov going to greet next. He can't afford to push through. Mid-control completely given up from ENCE. They're not playing anybody even close. Long seems to be where they're most comfortable with 3 players. If they peek, tabseN's going to have them. There's the first. They're going to peek again. tabseN gets Alexi B. It just seems disjointed. ENCE going out one by one into the embracing arms of Big, and it's the same result all over. This is just brutal to watch.
Yeah, I mentioned this might happen. This, this is a very, very, very strong map for Big. And it was very quickly after its reintroduction into the pool. Like 7, not ready for next, but that shoulder peek is tough for next to handle, and now just one player. Sergey remains with an AUG. Gonna have to fight his way out of this, and it looks like they know exactly where he is. Xanter's starting to toy with him a little bit. tabseN gonna start rotating towards T-spawn with the AWP as well to prevent any kind of a fallback. Tizian is gonna be on the hunt. They do not want Sergey to get away with this weapon. That long take from ENCE is just so confusing because you're going for a delayed peek in towards the long cave. You know there could be an AWP posted up there. You know there could even be an AK-47 posted up there. No utility used, and Xanter's is going to burn Sergey alive. Not a flashbang. 3 players there, not a single player threw a flash, a smoke, a nade, a Molotov, nothing to distract the big players in that cave.
Yep, absolutely. Spot on. That's why I was confused, so disjointed, so messy. Nowhere near as clinical as you'd expect from ENCE. And now they're back into more pistols. It was the CT side that let them down yesterday against Hellraisers. So maybe the best is yet to come, but again, they're going to have to get some rounds at least to build off.
I mean, this different from that game is the fact that the only time that Big has attacked the B bomb site has been on the pistol rounds. And this one, I guess. Xanter's and Tizian combined for the first. There's the follow-up, and the B bomb site is theirs. tabseN's still doing work. He's back in T-spawn, catches Aerial trying to push out long very quick. You have to imagine, you know when you play those games on Dust 2 and your B defenders just can't hold it, and you're just like, Jesus, I wish they could just hold the damn bomb site. Like, what even is this? I'm always rotating. Well, that's probably what ENCE was saying yesterday. And now it's the A bomb site that can't be held, so all the B defenders are like, yeah, how's it feel now?
It's going to be easy for Centaurus at the end. Maybe not quite as easy as they're expecting. He is going to go down. tabseN misses his chance, and maybe X7 can skedaddle out there with the AK-47. Looks likely, actually. Someone may drop down from catwalk, which would be God B.
Surely not. Surely God B does not make a SWAT team play. I think he imagines. I don't think he would have. He would even consider the fact that he just stopped in CT spawn. I think he probably thought he ran all the way towards long or something along those lines. Either way, not a big deal. You can have the AK-47. We'll take an 8-0 lead. tabseN at 16,000 essentially.
Yeah, 121 ADR has been AWPing magnificently. Can we just get a quick look at Alu and see what his ADR is? Because he's got no kills. Has he done anything? 27 ADR.
He's done.
RIP.
It's a valuable 27.
What can you say about that, really? The AWPer on an AWP-centric map is just not having an impact whatsoever.
It is tough. I will say, I think, sneakily, the CT side of this map is one of the tougher maps to have a really, really good defense. I think teams really kind of struggle with it.
Well, Dust 2 is one of those maps that's kind of gone back and forth in terms of CT and T bias.
Yeah, that's a fair way to put it. It's a very even map, so it's like no surprise, and you do sometimes see like pretty disparity in that pretty big disparity in the halves in the score lines. I don't know. The conversation around this map is so weird to me because historically it's always favored, if you go back to the early stages of CSGO, and certainly if you go back towards 1.6, it's always been a big upset map because everyone knows how to play it, and it was always very skill-based. I feel like Dust 2 in the current time of Counter-Strike is actually way more strategic than people probably expect. I don't think it gets enough strategic credit, essentially. And if you go into this thinking you can just kind of outduel people and you can go for those aim battles and you can win off your individual skill, I think teams more often than not in that way of thinking will have a bad time.
Well, at the moment, Big are having a bad time in round 9. Maybe this is where ENCE going to find some fortune, find some success. Xantares has stood on a Molotov. I have no idea how he survived that. Just 9 health separates him, and definitely he's been pushed off. Why ENCE win their first round, better late than never. Yeah, I feel like this map got a reputation for a, sort of a very pug-centric sort of map, you know, a lack of tactics. You just go out and frag, and that's pretty much it. But it's a lot more depth to Dust 2.
Yes. Well, that's a pretty cool tactic for Big, and with that amount of money that they have behind them, you can start digging deep into your clever plays. A couple players attacking up Catwalk, making it look like it's a hit of the A bomb site, and then executing a mid to B split. The fact that Aerial gets those 2 kills, no one is drawn out of the B bomb site for a rotation. That's what's meant to happen. If that kill gets traded, maybe that second rotator in the B bomb site goes out those double doors to try and get a jump towards the A bomb site, and he gets picked off and the site is lost. Does not pan out that way that round for Big. 8-1. Still, ENCE feeling absolutely no comfort.
Yeah, they've now just scratched away the round loss bonus, so they know that the pressure is even more on at this stage. Need to surge forward, that flashbang. Destroy Sergey, couldn't see a single thing. Next with the free entry, and I can see the disparity between the two sides. X7 is on an island all alone. The rest of his team are going to try and swim towards him, but Big could be there to capsize. God, B can hear footsteps of Aerial. He's just going to sit here for the time being. There's still 50 seconds left. There's no rush for the T's at this stage.
Aerial's all alone. This is going to be really tough, but he makes it work. Another double kill on Catwalk. Tizian, oh, he steps into the fire, and then he thinks better of it. That is a smarter decision to get out of the flames. What a great hold from Aerial. Oh, and next, an awkward jump. It has to be a mouse wheel. He's down low. Here's a window of opportunity to get back into this game. 22 seconds on the clock, and next. This is not a fight he wants to take. 15 HP. 1 bullet's going to do it, and it's a bullet to the face. Bomb is dropped back in mid, so Tizian's got to go back even if he finds that kill, but Aerial now 2 rounds in a row has delivered and allowed ENCE to string some rounds together.
Tizian's gonna be happy enough to just save. ENCE won't dare chase him down because their economy still isn't completely salvaged yet. Losing another player could cost them quite a bit of money. So 8-2. Aerial also showing us that the M4A1S still does exist. I think he's one of the few players in this entire tournament that actually uses it. I can't think of anybody else that uses it.
I forget who the other one is. There was one other person in Challenger stage that I noticed.
Does Shox use the A1S?
Probably. Sounds like a Shox thing to do. Alu still 0 kills. But, I mean, the only one, you know, no one's kind of sticking out on the scoreboard, but in terms of impact for ENCE, you don't get those 2 wins without Aerial. He's been holding Catwalk like a boss.
Yeah.
Probably the only location on the map they've found any success in this half so far. Got B as 5 ADR.
He has literally not played any part in this game other than calling tactics. He's been the puppeteer. It's like, go on, Tizian, you get all the kills. Tabson, help him out.
Yeah.
I'll just chill at the back. He's only died, to be fair, he's died 3 times and we're moving into round 11, so he hasn't really seen much action.
I mean, the 8 rounds in a row that Big won was pretty much no resistance from ENCE. They just steamrolled him in every way. He hasn't had to be involved in the action, but a chance for ENCE to make this competitive. Now that they've won 2 in a row, you could see a little bit of money behind Alu, behind X7, a little bit behind Aerial as well. They've given him that AK-47. If they somehow regain control in this match and string this up and make this a close half, I would be extremely impressed from ENCE.
That's a big +1 for me as well. I just can't really see ENCE being able to string it along, but I'd love to be proven incorrect. Big already making inroads up on Catwalk. It's going to be Xantares making the move, a more passive display. Alu again from Car, but I feel for his confidence he needs to start landing some shots.
Well, this is interesting for ENCE as well because this is a blind call to stack that B bomb site. Look at Alexi up on the rafters right outside the B window. Sergey can jump up in the boxes and help out because they have that third player X7 to guard. B hauls, and this stack might pan out. On the other hand, if it's spotted, there's the peek. Oh, Sergey, that's a nasty little off angle that he has. Alexi, the next one up, and yeah, they're committing to this B split, it feels. Tapson's gonna lead the way with the ult, but he's never gonna check this. Never when Sergey was there, and it's a freest kill. X7 chimes in as well, and there goes God B. Still don't think he's done any damage. And Tizian, that could have been a cool playoff catwalk. Oh dear. Yeah, Alu's having a rough game as well. You got to feel for him. It seems everything's going wrong for him. It's a third round for ENCE, and now they're coming alive.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, if God B's not performing, you don't necessarily expect him to have a bunch of the kills. He's not really going to have an integral part more often than not. If Alu's not performing, well, that's your AWPer that's just completely absent, invisible, not going to offer you anything at all. ENCE have really won these 3 rounds off the back of some pretty slick teamwork there on B side, and beforehand Aerial, just individual brilliance. So let's see if they can continue to apply the pressure.
I think it's pretty cool. You have to imagine that ENCE kind of got together and said, listen, we're probably going to be playing this too. We know Big likes it. We know we just got battered on it yesterday. They're going to want to exploit that. And we lost the B bomb site so much. Let's have like 1 or 2 tricks up our sleeve for that bomb site that we can just throw in when we think it's going to be a hit there. That's a nice timing flashbang. Aerial has been a hero for 2 rounds that got them started, but can't do anything when his eyes don't work. Alu's still at car, hasn't peeked yet. There they are. Delayed peek. God B just wants the bomb. Looks a little bit silly going for it, and Alu's going to finish him off as well. I think this has to be a save now for Big. Whatever ENCE talked about in the double timeout has worked phenomenally.
Yeah, I wish I actually could have heard that. Well, it had to be translated in English, of course, but I wish
Finnish is a fun language to listen to, because it makes no sense.
I used to live there, I tried to learn it, and my brain melted. It doesn't make sense. Literally, my brain started melting. It was unreal.
Yeah. It's what I imagine the language, it's the language fairies would speak. Here's X7 in the back of the bomb site. So much damage, but no kills. This round can still be turned in the favor of Big. They're going to start circling onto the bomb site, but now the nade comes in from Alu. X7 lands his shots. He's got 3 kills with that AUG. Sergey does fall, but ENCE is fine. They're climbing into this game. 5 in a row now for ENCE. What a weird half it's been. 8 in a row for Big, and 5 in 0 for ENCE in a response. And so I feel like these rounds haven't even been close. Like, it's either ENCE dominating or Big dominating.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a fair statement. Obviously, that last one was more of a save round, and now we're going to have the main course with Big picking up the AWP in the hands of Tabs. He's getting a lot of tags on the cross. Last 2 rounds has been a bit barren, though. A bit of a drought of picks. There's the entry they were looking for. Zentares, 50% of his health disintegrates, but it's completely worthwhile. He's going to look to keep pressing forward, but Aerial, different angle, same result.
Look how far ahead of his team Zentares was. No chance of a trade. He's passed along the information, but Aerial has gotten way more aggressive. There's the pick. Tapson turning the corner. The AWP rings out again. Alexi must stand his ground, and he can get nothing. Alu out of position. He's got the flank up catwalk. And actually, Tapson has the bomb. He just dropped it now. Alu's going to get in front of that. But a follow-up flashbang ruins him, but he still finds the kill. X7, the next one up. Gonna eat an A, but he wants to go for that peek, and now they have the information. Big knows the last 2 players from ENCE are here on catwalk.
Yeah, they're being constricted, they're being choked out of the round with Molotovs. There's another one in the hands of God B. And you better believe once that first Molotov fades, the second one will be deployed. And a smoke. Stalling for days. There is a little gap in that smoke, though. Another one's going to be tossed out for ENCE, so they are hungry to go for this. I thought they may pull back. Now they're shoe on the other foot. It's Nex that's burning to a crisp. He has to move out. God B lands the frag onto X7. Extinguishes his life, and Alu can do nothing. Big pick up a 9-5 lead. Their first round in 5, and unfortunately for Nex, he can't save. He gets blown up.
I think it's that, the extra second or 2 on the round end time that's here at the major. I've seen some players kind of get caught off guard by it, and obviously Nex, hasn't even been playing as much as the others leading into this event, so it's probably additionally annoying for him. 9-5. in the favor of Big. That was a much-needed round, and I think the only reason they went for that, Vince, is because they just had so much money from that 5-round win streak that it was like, you know what, we have the cash to kind of throw these guns away. We can rebuy in the next round. Let's just see if we can make some kind of a miracle happen on this retake. This is simple. There's the strategy that Hellraisers did. They didn't execute it as beautifully. They've taken way more damage, and that's going to make for some easy kills from X7, but Nex is doing a great job, and it's still turned in the favor of Big, despite the Molotov damage.
Well, Alu, unbeknownst to him, could actually just whip out his 5-7 and still have a very good chance here. All three players in the pistol range. Most HP they have is Intara's on 34. He does have a healthy dosage of nades, no flashbang. But he's slowly but surely peering around from the tunnels. He's going to have to get a move on, though, if he wants to clutch this. Intara's going to be the first point of contact that lands the headshot. Big will end the half. 10-5 in the lead on their terrorist half.
Yeah, that was a very nice start. A little bit of a rough stretch in the middle there, but still a big lead provided by Xantares and Tizian, both with 14 kills. We'll see how their defense stands when we return from the break. Don't let the romantic music fool you. This is a matchup for elimination. Both teams trying to completely delete the other out of the Counter-Strike major at IEM Katowice. There are no friends in this server.
No, fierce enemies. Can be friends after this matchup, but as you say, so much on the line. And both these teams still may not make it to the next stage, but an all-important map would mitigate having to go through the minor next time around. And again, we've already spoke about Big on home soil. The damage is already being inflicted, though. Tizian down at 36 health, and ENCE need a good start here on this half. They desperately need the pistol, and the kills are going the way of Big. It's headshots delivered by Nex and Tabson. Nex is going to hold the line a little bit longer. He's biding enough time for the rest of his team to make a move around from mid. The next 7 now to 1-on-4. The P250. Tabson claims 3. And Big claim an 11th round.
Great use of utility there by Big, and Nex obviously he's picking up right where he left off when he stepped down from this team to be the 6th man. Obviously gets one initial kill. Knows the flashbang is going to come in from a teammate, just hides behind the big box and waits for it to pop, goes for another follow-up peek. And then all the cavalry arrives, 11-5. That's both pistol rounds for Big. And remember, in the first half, it was an 8-0 run for the German side. So if you're ENCE, you simply just can't afford to have a slow start in this half.
And they know it. And that's why I think they're going to dip out on trying to get any buy implemented, plus no bomb plant. 3 SMGs at the disposal of Big. The AUG going to be used at range, and Tabson chunking through players alongside Zantares. Some casualties coming in. The MP9 not tailor-made for this range, and it is actually going to be 2 kills. Just Glocks for ENCE. This isn't too bad already. There won't be a third to add to the mix. ENCE need to come out swinging in this first rifle.
Oh, that wouldn't have mattered. They had plenty of time. That was a nice little shoot of the rifle over to your teammate with the SMG, but I think there was still like an extra 1.5 seconds, so we would have got it anyways. But still, some nice fancy stuff coming out of Big. 12-5. Don't have the ops out yet for the CT side, nor the offensive side. ENCE is going to be just fine. 5 AKs for them, plenty of utility as well, but they've got a long way to come back into this game. 5-12. 2 players going to defend this B bomb site. Tizian and Nex. That is a wild stack that I feel is more than likely to give your opponents 2 kills.
Yeah, that is a bit of a worry. They have pulled back now, using the AUG long range. Can jump up, tap, go back down again.
If someone told me to take that fight against an AUG, I would just laugh at him. I would just say, hell no, absolutely not. Here's Zantares coming out. He's dropped, but he's brought X7 down very, very low. That's going to soften him up for these catwalk players, but they have to be careful. They can get caught in limbo. That's a great nade. Somehow X7 survives it. 1 HP. There's the flashbang through it. Gabi's going to be in perfect position to stop as his teammate goes down. Double kill for Gabi. A 2-on-1, and Alu cannot make any mistakes.
Well, the good news for Alu is there's no HE, so he's not going to get stopped on his retreat from the explosive. Still has a Molotov. No smokes in hand for Big. There is a way where this is possible, but the AUG at range is going to be a nightmare, and he's playing the long con. He's going all the way around towards short. He's assuming that Big are going to cover off all the angles.
This could work. He's got a Molotov. He's got the time for this, Vince.
Going to tap the bomb as well. Alu making a move up. Can he be silenced before being able to throw the Molotov? Yes. And that's a great call by Tizian or God-B, whoever it was. That rotation could come into effect.
I really like that attempt, though, from Alu. You have to appreciate it. 15 HP, you're not going to win too many long-range duels, especially against the AUG. You can see the power of it, though, with Tizian. Just so confident. If he was able to get that first kill, his plan would be to throw the Molotov on it, and then even if there's time to defuse when the Molotov goes down, he can just peek on that last player. There wouldn't have been time to fake it too much. A nice attempt, but those don't get you anywhere when you're down 5-12, and now it's 5-13.
Yeah, nice try, stop mattering. At this point, it has to be rounds. There's no substitute for it any longer. Sergey chunked down to 75. A heavy presence in the long doors for ENCE, and they're going to look to burst out. God-B with a flashbang of his own. He's been smoked off from the rest of his team, but he doesn't need any help for the time being. He's doing just fine alone. Now Tabson comes in. The cavalry arrives, and it stompedes all over ENCE. They can do nothing to deal with Big right now. They are just leaps and bounds ahead on Dust 2.
Yeah, that is some really good faith in your teammates from God-B, because he's not even playing gun out after that first kill that he gets. He's just dumping all of his utility at the top of that ramp, allowing his teammates. Zantares rotating over. I mean, he's just making sure that they're going to have as easy kills as possible to mop that up, and ENCE gets caught in a very awkward scenario. 14-5 now. Still no AWPs. Excuse me. Oh, no, still no AWPs. That's a scout. Nice jump from X7. Provide an opening. A little bit of life for ENCE in this round.
Big with such a vast lead. Next decides to go a bit too aggressively through mid. Tabson will Bounce back with a frag of his own with the AWP. Aerial needs to win this trade, and he has. Now ENCE can really try and make a move to claim a 6th round, pushing up on the A side of the map. Xantares is here, but he's a bit out of position.
I don't know if he's heard those footsteps out towards long. He's got the aim to turn this round on its head, and look at this. There's not any utility. He's going to get straight heads-up fights. If he wins these first 2, that's a big one. He gets the second. X7 goes down as well. Xantares, now you see why they picked him up. That's a great sequence, and he has recovered in this round. I don't think he'll expect that third player to be so far back, but he is looking in this direction, and he's got that as well.
Wow. Conga lining their way to death, pushing their way forward, but Xantares take nothing away from him. That is phenomenal.
Oh, it's just the worst feeling if you're ENCE, if you're just creeping up to that long cross and you're like, oh, we don't have any smokes. No flashes either, and that is just easy.
Well, 10 map points. ENCE very close on the precipice, looking down to potential loss. Tabson hasn't seen anything just yet. That smoke isn't going to deter his vision from spotting up mid. Grenade damage inflicted. Xantares feeling it. Confidence oozing through him, coursing through his veins. Goes aggressively on catwalk, but thinks better of that decision. It was over-aggression that nearly cost Big the previous round. They don't want to make that mistake twice.
Well, he's got another opening kill for ENCE. It's quickly evened back out. Look at this aggression on catwalk. That AUG doing work, and so is the ult from Tabson. He's been phenomenal. He was great in the first half, attacking with it, and Guppy, he had a rough start to this game, but I thought he was going to have that aerial. The adjustment is able to find that. Nex and Tizian versus Alu and Aerial.
Aerial tanked down low. Alu needs to stay alive, and Nex, surgical precision to the head, leaves Aerial in a 1-on-2. Been one of the standout players for ENCE, one of the few saving graces. But he could get picked off from the backside. Tizian, just behind the box, springs up, and that's the first map done. Big, convincing, comfortable, never looked in doubt, 16-5 victors.
Yeah, they blank him in the second half. 6-0 on their CT side when they switch over. A couple sketchy moments, but overall, solid play from Big. Xantares, 23-13. Tabs